Saturn as she was trying to come out and charge at the ball, and Montagano instinctively put that ball up high. And a beautiful shot right up over the top of the goalie into the left side of the net. Eloise Montagano, just a phenomenal player, a real leader on this Bulldog team as plays back underway. O'Donnell looking for room. She charges up across the 45, finds the 50, sends the ball down, trying to catch Putney on the run. Going to be just a little too much and back out of bounds. And that'll be a Cardinal free hit. Should be from the 16 as the referee's trying to set number 4, Harrington, up. Harrington for the Cardinals. Tries to advance the ball. Knocked down quickly by Elaine. Elaine slides it over. Excuse me, that was Montagano. O'Donnell in traffic. Finds room. Backhand shot. Score! Rips a backhand reverse right through the 5-hole. The goaltender. Just an absolute missile. Bulldogs up 3-0. 6:40 on the clock in the first quarter. And the Bulldogs are certainly setting the tone for this game so far with the 3-0 lead. BG's going to call a timeout on the field. It's going to give us a moment here, Bill, to talk a little bit more about the team.
Yeah, let me just jump in, and we apologize for anybody that has been watching the game and you haven't heard too much from me. You got to understand, Scott has lived and breathed and slept with field hockey forever and has coached many of these girls that are on the not only the Bedford side but opposing teams as well. We're trying something new here. We're actually using the huddle cameras. We don't have our regular crews here today, but we're trying to make these kind of games when we're thin on crews but heavy on great broadcasters like you to use that system. So this is something new that we're doing, so we're kind of working out the kinks, and we just had a network drop. And I have Andrew, who's our production broadcast coordinator and guru, in his car working his phone to get us back on the air. So it is 3-0 if you're just rejoining us, and you may want to do a little bit of review, Scott, just to see what happened.
Will.
So if you could do that.
Certainly will. We Bedford Bulldogs started off hot here in the first quarter. There's 6:40 left in the first quarter. Bulldogs up 3-0, like you mentioned, Bill. First goal, Mary Lenti, right on the doorstep in front of the goalie with a nice little stick handle around the goalie and slammed it into the back of the net. Bulldogs went up 1-0. Shortly thereafter, senior captain, midfielder, Eloise Montagano rips a shot from just inside the circle, goes top shelf left over the top of the goalie, froze the Cardinal goalie. And what a beautiful shot in play by Eloise, who's just such a talented player. And then just a few moments ago, we had senior captain Tegan O'Donnell get some room, work to the backhand, and she ripped a backhand missile that went 5-hole right between the goalie's legs. And now we have a 3-0 game right off the jump, and the Bulldogs have certainly set the tone, not only for this game, but probably for the rest of the season. They're not going to be short on offensive firepower, Bill.
I was going to say, is this, as you mentioned at the beginning, Bedford, excuse me, is ranked right up there. But this fast start against BG, that is traditionally a strong field hockey team, does this pace surprise you and what Bedford is showing right now?
It does, but we're early in the season. And, you know, these teams develop certain strategies and formations in order to play teams in strategic ways. So, you know, I anticipate Guertin coming back here and the game calming down. This is a very skilled team, great athletes all across the fields for the Bishop Guertin Cardinals, highlighted by Addison Dodona, who's a senior forward. Addison is on her way to play college field hockey at Assumption. She had one heck of a career playing club field hockey with the Seacoast group out in Hampton and Epping. Then Carly Green, midfielder, senior as well, and Ayla Saturn, the goalie. All three of those players were named in the National Field Hockey Coaches Association Players to Watch for 2025 on the BG side of the ball. So these these players are skilled. They're great athletes, and I expect them to settle down and make a comeback here as Dodona tries to find room, and it ends up going off a Bulldog stick, but out of bounds. Referee is going to leave that possession to Guertin, so that'll come back out to the 25. It'll be Guertin's ball. Guertin last year with a record of 12 wins, 5 losses, and a tie. They ended up 8th in the season, and this year ranked in the same spot with the preseason predictions that they'll be 8th again this year. But we'll see how that goes. That's why the season's played out. You never know how it's going to go. And, no one saw Keene coming last year, Bill, and Keene dominated. They went, I believe, undefeated and on to their first state championship title, and they were just a phenomenal powerhouse of a team. So we'll see how this season unfolds as here we are in the first game of the 2025 girls varsity Division I field hockey playoff season.
I'm looking, Scott, at the roster for BG. A lot of underclassmen on this roster.
Yeah, and here's Bedford, right?
Yep.
There's returning 15 seniors. I don't think there's another team in the state that has that many seniors, and many of these girls played on the tri-state championship team in middle school.
Okay.
So, not to mention, we've got two players that are really, really skilled that haven't been on the field yet due to injury, and they're trying to work through that. That's Eva Piciantini, along with Ella O'Keefe, who have been staples on this Bulldog team. And they're just not able to suit up right now. As Montagano gets it back into the circle, she looks for room, goes backhand, ball pops up, Lenti tries for the rebound, but Saturn is able to keep it out of the net, and that ball goes out of bounds.
I'm trying to make an adjustment here when I think of, covering girls lacrosse, and there seems to be a lot of action inside the circle that causes play stoppage and then like a penalty shot. I'm not seeing anything in field hockey. It looks like it's free play all the way up to the goalie. Is that correct?
It certainly is. And, it's a different strategy in so many different ways, right? Lacrosse, you get to set up, at the top of the circle. You can set up plays. Typically, the defenders aren't running out to the 25 or 30-yard line, attacking the ball carrier. They're letting them kind of sit back and try and defend the plays as they come in, whereas there's a backhand for Montagano again. That goes up high. They call it no goal on that, and I can understand that from the referee's perspective because it was up high by the heads of the defenders. However, if that was a college shot, that would have counted.
I was wondering if that was a safety issue or the stick above the shoulder. I mean, again, it gets a little confusing with some of the rules between different sports,
right,
as well as boys and girls.
Yep, I mean the main rule here for those at home that aren't familiar with the game of field hockey really is the players have to work that ball into that circle that you see on the field. Here at Bedford, it's a black circle that you see. That's called the shooting circle. If you don't get into that shooting circle, the goal won't count if you take a shot and it goes in. You can certainly shoot from further away. As Montagano works her way back in, she goes wristing the ball towards the goal, deflected down, defended nicely by the Cardinals as they clear to the sideline. And the defender, Krushank, is looking for an opening but doesn't quite find one. Montagano quickly takes the ball off the penalty call. Referee's going to stop her and make her reset. The ball has to reset after the whistle is blown and they call a foul or a free hit. The player has to stop and set the ball and then can take off. It's actually quite the strategy done typically as coaches, especially the Dover coach out there in Dover. She is Sarah Michaud. She is like an expert at teaching her players to set that ball as quick as you can and take off to try and get those extra few steps on the defenders. Bulldogs shoot back towards the net. That looked like Widener from the far side, and that ball just went out of bounds. It's going to be Guertin's ball coming back out to the 16. We've got a minute left in the first quarter. Ball lifted to Dodona. Chips it up the field, trying to get across the 50, but Guertin is there. She scoops it up, defends nicely, and disrupts the play. They're going to call a foot call there. It's going to be Bedford's ball. Guertin tries to lift it, doesn't get all of it, but does get up to Widener. And ball goes out of bounds. It would be a side in for the Cardinals. 30 seconds left on the clock. They're working that far sideline. They get another foot call off of Widener. And they're looking for a lane, trying to get the ball into Bedford territory. Finally get it down across the 25. Guertin quickly turns it around and slaps it up the field. Widener on the sideline. Ball stolen there from her by Green. Green charges up the field, lays it out nicely to her teammate who charges in towards the baseline. But there's Guertin to stop her before she can drive to the net. And the Bulldogs certainly set the tone. A 3-0 lead, end of the first quarter. Guertin did not get a shot off, as Bedford was all offense, and every time the ball got up across the 30, the Bulldogs defense stepped up and turned the ball back the other way.
That is absolutely amazing. I mean, there was aggression constantly moving in the offensive end. If we were to take a look at how much time was in their offensive end versus, BG and their offensive end, we're talking a differential of 9-2.
Probably. It was 15 minutes on the clock, right? They probably had about a minute and a half or 2 minutes where they were actually into the Bedford zone.
Yep.
So, I'm sure Coach Gaudreau, second-year head coach this year for Coach Gaudreau, not new to being a head coach. She comes with all kinds of experience. Formerly the head coach at St. Anselm College for both field hockey and lacrosse.
Wow.
And she was also a player at St. Anselm College, where she took the team from a club team her first year into a varsity sport. So something to be said for that. Kate certainly knows the game. An assistant coach, Karen Putney, also played her high school field hockey out in Portsmouth, and field hockey fanatic. She certainly knows the game as well.
And we know how good those Portsmouth teams can be.
We do. We certainly do. And we also know how good those Putney girls can be.
Absolutely.
Her oldest, Anna, graduated a few years back. She was a phenomenal player here at Bulldog Stadium. And scored a lot of goals, played attack, super fast, great player. And now her sister Ella, who's a senior, and her younger sister Addie, who I believe Addie's a sophomore this year. They're out here representing the Putney family. I'm sure Karen and all are very proud of them, as everybody's really enjoyed watching them develop and come up and be such a mainstay in the Bedford Bulldog arena. So.
Well, I hope everybody's enjoying this broadcast, Scott, because you know this sport inside and out. Now, you've been coaching for a while, from the youth level right up to how high did you go in the coaching ranks?
Just the summer high school group at Seacoast, and, that was thanks to another field hockey family, the Gabords. You may remember a few years back, Taylor Gabord, Bedford family. Taylor went to Bishop Guertin as a freshman. Taylor was named Player of the Year at Bishop Guertin. She went on, had a phenomenal high school career. It's at Colgate, played at Colgate. Just an incredible athlete. It was her mom who was coaching winter indoor years and years ago and said, "Hey, can you come help me out? I need someone else on the bench to help me with making sure everybody gets equal playing time." I jumped at that opportunity. So it was fun, and that really allowed me to have a lot of access to the kids, and especially all the Bedford kids and a lot of these Bishop Guertin kids throughout the years through the Seacoast Club field hockey program.
Well, I can't thank you enough, and if you're enjoying this broadcast, you can thank Scott, because you can tell his passion comes through for the game.
Well, I appreciate that, Bill. It's a special thing. High school sports in general are special. They're special to me when I was growing up and my family. And it's just such a nice thing to be part of this community and watch these kids and these families come together, to compete and play at this level and really just celebrate the fact that we're out here. Years ago with COVID, we didn't know if this would happen. So talk about having some perspective and appreciation for that. As Tegan O'Donnell works into the circle, ball bounces around. She's looking for a call, and she gets it. Dumont originally stopped her, but the ball rolled up and hit her. So that's going to be a free hit. It's going to be a corner for the Bulldogs. Second corner of the game. And again, for those out there that aren't familiar with the game of field hockey, if the ball hits your foot, it is a foul. And that's a free hit for the other team. Ball inserted to O'Donnell. O'Donnell, direct shot and score. Rips one down low. Goes near side. Plenty of steam on that one as the defenders, I think Dumont went out and several others came out quickly, got on top of O'Donnell, but she went with a straight shot off the call from Coach Kate Gaudreau. And she finds the back of the net.
I was going to say, it almost looks like it deflected off the defender on the line down there, but I might be wrong on that.
I'm not sure. It went by so quickly,
Yeah.
Bill, I wasn't really sure how that got through, but it certainly had eyes on it.
Yeah.
She put that where it needed to
But
be.
it seemed all the Bedford players were positioned to where they had to be.
Yeah. Here comes Bedford again. Right back up. Trying to move it along. It's going to be Cardinal free hit. They get up to the 40. Elaine is there. Elaine finds Lenti. Lenti slides it down to O'Donnell. O'Donnell through the legs of the defender. Pushes it into the circle just out too far. Ball goes to get cleared. Referee makes a call on the play. She's going to call a foot call back around the 15-yard line. Grace Wolf will have it for the Bulldogs with the free hit. Wolf goes down low to Lenti. Lenti on the baseline. Stick handles left. Goes and wheels right around the defender. Nicely played by Dumont for the Cardinals as she knocks it down and clears it out of harm's way. Great defense there from the Cardinals as they've been under constant attack from the Bulldogs. Lenti trying to do a zipper pass. O'Donnell to Montagano. Montagano, quick shot, gets knocked down, doesn't get to the net as the Cardinals try to clear. Montagano gets it back, heads up, looks in, finds O'Donnell in traffic. O'Donnell looking for room again. And she's able to draw another foot call off the Cardinals. And we're going to get another corner. Third corner for the Bulldogs here in the first half of the game. We're just about 12 minutes left on the clock. Bulldogs are up 4-0.
The pressure Bedford is putting on BG is just almost insurmountable.
They're certainly passing the ball nicely up the field and transitioning quickly as Guertin up top to O'Donnell. O'Donnell slides it over. Montagano, wrist shot. Nice save by Saturn. Montagano, quick turnaround, back towards the front of the net. Lenti chips at it. There's a scramble. Saturn with a couple of beautiful saves in there in traffic. She ends up falling down on the ball and kicks it on out the baseline. And that was a great job by the Guertin goalie keeping that ball out of the net. Montagano from the 25. Stick handles, looking to find O'Donnell. O'Donnell reaches for it. They're going to call a penalty on her for reaching over the top of the defender's stick. Up comes Green. She loses it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell pokes it ahead. She's again looking for an opening. Finds Montagano. Montagano shot towards the net. Saturn with a save. Lenti again right on top of it, but can't get it in. O'Donnell trying to back in towards the goalie, but they're going to call a positional foul on that for O'Donnell trying to back into the defender, and that ball will come to the 16. Cardinals try to clear. Lifted and knocked down by Montagano to Grace Wolf. Grace Wolf one-times it into O'Donnell. O'Donnell goes backhand real quick, rip. Ends up hitting the Guertin defender, number 8, Brennan, as she was able to knock it away. And Guertin has a free hit. Trying to get up the field. Dodonna. She's going to lift it all the way up to the 50-yard line. Beautiful lift by Addie Dodonna. Ball back on the 40. Grace Wolf waiting on it. Intercepted very nicely by Dumont as she comes hustling across the field. She finds Dodonna again. Dodonna up across the 25. Lays it out across the 20. Spengler trying to find an opening, but there's Mia Guertin as she darts up the field after stealing the ball, gets it all the way up to the 50. Avery Girasol in the game at forward. Girasol goes down the far sideline. Ball goes out of bounds. It's side in for Vi Hodgson Rogers. And the Bulldogs continue to attack. Girasol chips at it, trying to get around the defender. Nicely played there by Sophia Harrington as she got it out of harm's way. And there'll be a foul call and a free hit for the Cardinals. Referee resetting the Cardinals on the free hit. Harrington, it's a junior, trying to lift it up the field. Knocked down by Montagano. Players scramble for it. Here comes Dumont charging up the field. Sends it up. Guertin is able to slow her down. Montagano is able to go backhand and knock it out of harm's way. Putney had it. Foul committed by Guertin. Hodgson Rogers knocks it down. Montagano goes backhand. Big, beautiful pass across the field to Addie Putney. Tegan O'Donnell rips a wrist shot. Sorry, that's a reverse. And ball pops up and gets knocked down again as it just doesn't get through to the net. Elaine tries to find Montagano. That went too far. And Vi Hodgson Rogers, with the hustle, scoops it back up, gets it down low to Ella Putney. Senior Ella Putney working into the circle, trying to get around the defender, and is able to draw a foul on the Cardinal defender, and that'll be another corner for the Bulldogs. Cardinals trying to get out of their own end, and every time they get up across the 50, the Bulldogs just attack, take the ball away, and get it right back up the field. Senior captain Mia Guertin on the goal line, ready to insert, waiting for the referee's signal. There's the whistle. Ball gets inserted to O'Donnell. O'Donnell looks, spiral back pass, reverse shot by Montagano. Nice save by the goalie, Saturn, on that. As that ball came up towards her chest, she knocked it down with the waffle and kept it from going into the back of the net. Cardinals, however, from the 16. Harrington tries to lift it. Referee blows the whistle. She's going to call a foul. It's going to be on Tegan O'Donnell. So when you have a free hit, the rule in field hockey is you have to give the player 5 yards. That gives them 5 yards to have room to send the ball any direction they want. And O'Donnell was just too close to the player with the free hit, and the referee was having none of that. So blew the whistle, and O'Donnell will take the penalty as she goes out of the game here for a 2-minute break. So Bulldogs will play down 1. Let's see if Guertin can find the open player and get the ball up the field. As Green tries to work that sideline. She draws a call. Green sends it up to her teammate, but it goes out of bounds off of Kosterman's stick. Side in for the Bulldogs. Elaine has it. She back passes to Guertin. Guertin right away gives it back up the field. Ball battled for and goes out of bounds off a Widener stick. Montagano chips it up, trying to find Putney with room. Putney trying to split the D. Nice hustle by Dumont to slow her down. Widener again. Sends it down low and finds Ella Putney. Ella Putney looking for an opening. Chips it over the defender. trying to get in the shooter circle. Ball comes back out. Widener knocks at it. And referee is going to call a free hit for the Cardinals coming back the other way. About a minute expired on the penalty. So Guertin has plenty of time to work the extra man advantage. Drilled up the field. Montagano, beautiful hands, knocks that down. Goes backhand, finds Grace Wolf. Chips it up in the air. They're going to call a dangerous stick on that as Wolf was trying to get possession. And Montagano knocks it down again. Finds Addie Putney. She gives it back to Montagano, but too hot right off the top of her stick. And Ella Putney chases it down. Ella Putney, as O'Donnell comes charging back onto the field after the expiration of the penalty, but too late as the ball goes out the baseline. And it'll be a free hit for the Cardinals coming back to the 16. Just about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second quarter as Guertin has started to settle the ball down and slow the Bulldogs down from the scoring onslaught of the first quarter. Elaine gives chase for the Bulldogs, gets control of it. Great stick handler as she puts the ball up to O'Donnell. O'Donnell sends it towards the net, deflected by Avery Girasol. She tried to tip that and ramp that ball right towards the net, but it just went wide. Nice try by Avery Girasol, senior here forward for the Bulldogs. Just under 4 minutes in the second quarter. Girasol knocks it down, spins, works it nicely to the 20, finds help, gets it back to Widener. Widener looking for room. Widener sends the ball back to Guertin. Guertin, Bedford playing the control game. Ray sends it back to Hodgson. Rogers gets it up across the 50. She's looking for room. Sends it up to Widener. Nicely defended there by Dumont to slow down the charge of the Bulldogs. Bill, I'd like to mention, plenty of these athletes out here are multi-sport athletes. And one of the best ones out there, Carly Hodgson Rogers, is one heck of a lacrosse player. I'm sure you've seen her on the field.
We have. I've been listening to you, and I want to kind of jump in. I'm not going to break his flow because you're doing a great job of doing the call because you know this game better than I do. But that's one of the things. I recognize a couple of names, and I'm just looking the way that they're setting up their formations, and there is a lot of similarities with lacrosse in this whole process.
Yep, there certainly is. As Dodona tries to get an edge, but the speedy Anna Ray comes back and is able to get on the goal side of the defense and slow that ball down. Montagano pursuing. Green trying to get it up the field. Dumont trying to get up the field. They're certainly working hard to try and find an opening. Montagano turns, sends it up the field. Ball goes about 30 yards. Addie Putney, beautiful pull. Finds O'Donnell. O'Donnell, one-on-one, trying to get by the defender, but bodies her and knocks her over. Referee's going to call a foul on that. That's the second time of the body call. And that just comes down to you can't turn your back and bump into the defender and push them back like you would in a basketball game or in a lacrosse game, which is also a call. But you'll see a lot of these calls. Sometimes you get confused out here, Bill, as to what the referee is calling because field hockey is a very